Let's now move on to the second module, which looks at the duties carried out before the exam, including the setup of the venue. All Chief Invigilators must report to the relevant exam centre to collect the materials required for the examination before proceeding to the exam venue. Assistants, on the other hand, will report directly to the exam venue and should be there waiting for the Chief to arrive. The only exception to this is for the Gold Coast Invigilators rostered to work at the Southport Sharks Football Club, where all Invigilators must report directly to the exam venue. Once you arrive at the venue, there are a few venue checks that you need to carry out before exam preparations can get underway. There must be sufficient furniture for the number of expected students. The lights must be working correctly and not flickering. Please also check the clock is working, and if the venue does not have a clock, then please write the time on the whiteboard in 15-minute intervals, crossing each one out as the time has passed. Please also check the toilets, that both the male and female toilets are unlocked and contain no cheating notes or reference materials. Also check there is no outside noise or distraction that may affect the running of the examination. During this time, the Chief must ensure details of the exams are written clearly on the whiteboard in a font size that is visible to all students. An example of what should be written on the whiteboard is shown here. This includes the exam start time, amount of perusal time, if any, exam duration, the exam finish time, permitted materials, such as dictionary or calculators, and any other instructions to students. In this order, materials should be placed neatly on top of each other on the desk in flat-floored venues with tables and chairs, or on every second chair in tiered lecture theatres. Here is an example of how exam materials should be laid out. The photo on the left shows an exam paper which has an answer booklet. The one on the right is where a student writes their answers directly on the exam paper, and therefore only attendance slip is required. Here is an example of what we refer to as a flat-floored venue and a tiered lecture theatre. As you can see, tiered theatres have tablet arms, and which need to be folded away for students to sit down. For this reason, the exam materials are placed on the seat rather than the open table arm. If your venue has multiple exams, please ensure that students sitting in the same exam are seated together. On the other hand, if the venue is not filled to capacity, then spread out the students, particularly in lecture theatres or large venues where you may be able to leave an empty row between students. Once the venue is set up, and prior to allowing students to enter, it is important for the Chief to hold a pre-exam brief with all invigilators in the venue. In this briefing, the Chief should discuss the exam requirements, such as the exam duration, the exam type, and permissible materials. Additionally, specific duties should be allocated to each assistant. This is also an opportunity for assistants to ask questions to ensure the exam runs as smoothly as possible. Now this concludes Module 2. Below, you'll find the textual content and a short test. This should be completed before moving on to the next module to ensure you have understood what we have covered in this module.